confident again and to feel like. And the Spectrum 7 at Max Tan gave me that little spark back and can also give it to you too. A full body light that makes my skin and my spirit feel brighter.
Tomorrow is about the lessons we learn today. A farmer's market teaches us that community is grown together. Kids laughing shows us how joy is easy. And coffee on the porch reminds us to savor every moment. These are the lessons that shape a tomorrow we all share. One filled with trust, good company, and wide open dreams. That's the way banking should be. And that's Pinnacle Bank. Member FDIC.
Hey guys, it's Carly from Boyk Farm Outfitters. With the holidays behind us, our team is already looking ahead to the 2026 season. And to help you get ready, we're hosting our second annual expo at our location near Exeter, January 27th. The expo covers 8 topics that matter to your farm. We'll discuss fungicides in heavy disease environments, liquid systems for your planter and how to choose the right one, how Washington is viewing important ag topics, and much more. Don't forget to stick around afterwards for the happy hour. Check out BoykFarmOutfitters.com for more info, and we'll see you there.
Hi, I'm Scott Miller, Business Development Officer at Midwest Bank's Lincoln branches. As a lifelong Lincolnite with over 30 years of experience in financial management, I'm here to help your business grow and succeed. My focus is building strong relationships with businesses and clients across Lincoln. Because at Midwest Bank, we believe banking is about people, not just numbers. Visit us at midwest.bank or stop by one of our Lincoln locations. Your community, your bank. Midwest Bank. Member FDIC.
Planet Fitness has everything you need to get stronger just around the corner, so you can give everything you've got. Whether you want to crush a few reps before class with our expanded strength equipment or sweat it out on your way home from work. With over 2,800 locations, there's a Planet Fitness close to you, and most are open 24 hours. Join the club today and save $28 or more when you join for $1 down, $15 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal ends January 30th. Are you coming? Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet. See club for details.
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
Hi, Charlie Stone here, and joining me is Andy Goodyear with Honda of Lincoln. Before I bring Andy on, we want to wish you joy, success, and good health in 2026. Andy, are you there?
Yes, I am, Charlie. And by the way, that was well said.
Andy, I know you want to kick off 2026 with a bang. What's going on at the dealership?
We got a lot going on here, Charlie. We have incredible savings on every new remaining 2025, New Year's savings on every new 2026, special low long-term financing, and special lease rates. The biggest news is we have more than 400 new 2025 and 2026 Hondas to choose from.
How about pre-owned?
We have over 125 pre-owned and certified pre-owned Hondas right now with prices starting at under $10,000, and we have special low rates.
Well, maybe it's time you experience the best. The Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Welcome to The Drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert. Former football national champion, speaker, and author Aaron Davis.
Pain is a teacher if you use it. And the lessons in the carnage of pain sometimes are elusive. They hide, they're stealth. The work is finding the lessons through the pain. There's always a message in the mess. Depends on if we want to get dirty and look for it.
Nick Sainert.
Driving left side is Boyer, picks up his dribble, looking for some help, decides to go up strong with it, and the layup will rattle home. Jack Riley picks the pocket of B.J. Bradford up the floor to Jack Ostrider. Watch out! Bonfisi in the lane, kicks it out. 3-ball, Townsley, right wing, it's good!
It's on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Tuesday. This is The Drive, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainer with you alongside Jake Bakoven on a Tuesday. We appreciate Bach for hanging out. Thanks to Jay Foreman for hanging out with me yesterday. AD will be back tomorrow and the rest of the week. AD is back. He's out in Kearney today. He was sent me a picture last night of him watching the national championship from his hotel room with a nice steak as his dinner last night, as he's out speaking in Kearney, in the Kearney area today. He was out in York yesterday, but he is once again back tomorrow, and we can resume my push-ups tomorrow. That's the big. Right. I got to knock those out this week. I got about 300 left, so I've been able to refresh. I've been able to reload, and we are ready to go about 100 a day on the next 3 days, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. As always, welcome to The Drive. Thanks for joining us. 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, and the Starter Heyman text line are open for you guys the entire show today, as well as the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Allo Cable channel 961, all available for you guys to get your thoughts in. And coming up on the show today, a lot of Husker hoops talk. I want to get that out with Bach because Nebraska yet again makes history this week as they move up a spot in the AP poll. It's once again the highest ranking in school history, number 7 in the AP poll, ahead of Washington and road game against Minnesota this week. Those are the next 2 tests for Nebraska basketball. But first, we cannot bury the lead. The Indiana Hoosiers. The Indiana Hoosiers are your national champion for college football in the year 2026. And Bach, that statement alone is insane to say. And here we are. Curt Cignetti, the magician, is here we are, national champions.
Yeah, it really is the most, maybe among the most, you don't want to get too hyperbolic, but among the most incredible things that I've ever seen in college football. It really is amazing. I you think about the turnarounds, over the years, and I think of the Bill Snyders and, at Kansas State and getting them one game away from the championship game. You think about Frank Beamer and Virginia Tech and Michael Vick and getting them into the championship game. You can think about some other underdogs over the years. TCU making it was quite a surprise, but nothing quite gets to Indiana, who entered this season as the losingest program in college football history.
Yeah.
To turn it around and finish the story, get the win even in the championship game. And it could just be the start of a new dynasty. Who knows? Yeah. But as for now, it is incredible. And man, it's what a time to be alive.
So Big B sends in a text on the text line once again, 402-464-5685, says you can't hate on him. They won all their games. They beat some tough top 10 teams. They deserve the natty. This is no hate on Curt Cignetti at all. I mean, Buck, I was telling you before we came on the air on the show, before the show, that excuse me, goodness, Curt Cignetti, in his 4 years as a head coach at James Madison in Indiana, has a combined record of 45-6 in 4 years.
At James Madison in Indiana.
And James Madison in Indiana. James Madison's one of the better group of 5 teams now because of Curt Cignetti. But then he goes to Indiana and he gets a couple of major things right, identification pieces right. He's also worked through some staff changes. We forget that their co-offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach from his year 1, Tino Sunseri, left on his own accord to go be the offensive coordinator at UCLA, got fired this year, Tino Sunseri did, and now is looking for another job. But Curt Cignetti, 45-6 in 4 years as a head coach, 26-2 at his time in Indiana. And you've taken now one of the most losing programs in the entire history of college football, flipped it, did a complete 180 in just 2 years. And I think people are starting to really gravitate towards who Curt Cignetti is because his personality just oozes through every interview, every press conference that he does, through the team. And for all the people in college football that say that football is broken and that the transfer portal has changed the way that coaches do things, it's changed personalities of guys, it's changed the priority. I think college football fans are starting to gravitate towards Curt Cignetti because he's a glimmer of purity in college football. He is what it used to be. Just put your head down, grind it out, back to work tomorrow. And I think people are starting to finally take note.
Yeah, and it's weird because everybody wants to ask, and that was the question coming into this year, who's going to be the next Indiana, as if last year, which was amazing enough. I mean, won him National Coach of the Year because of what we're talking about, turning that program around. And it turns out that Indiana was this year's Indiana on steroids, right? I mean, even taking it to that next level in winning a championship, which is unthinkable in Bloomington. But here we are, and yeah, I mean, it's kind of fun to say, and a lot of people are all the pressure on the coaches and the ADs across the country because of Curt Cignetti is, everybody's asking, okay, well, how do we duplicate this? How do we do this? Again, part of the amazing story is this isn't an NIL the transfer portal certainly helped, but this isn't just they bought the team. This isn't Texas Tech.
No,
this is taking a group of guys and identifying, at its best at James Madison, getting that group of guys to come over, working with what he had at Indiana, building those players up, identifying guys then again in the portal, veterans that can come in and help. And it is just all come together for an unbelievable ride. And I don't know, to find the next guy. And we were going through, it's like, okay, where's the best maybe, chance to be in? It's just so historically on its own that it's hard to say, okay, well, who's the next in it? Probably nobody. This is the type of victory that puts him in a different class, a different stratosphere among college footballs in history, because it really is just for one single championship. Yes, there's going to be, the Nick Sabans out there, the Bear Bryants, of course, the Tom Osbornes we know around here, the guys that have multiple titles. But for one single title, this is about as unrealistic as it gets.
So here's this. How about the active coaches right now? You said he introduces himself into an elite group, right? Active coaches in college football right now with the national championship: Kirby Smart, Dabo, Ryan Day, Curt Cignetti. There you go.
That's it.
And it's incredible to think about. It is incredible to think about, because not that we didn't expect Curt Cignetti to turn Indiana around. I think everybody kind of thought that, okay, you get a guy that's kind of put his head down. James Madison had some serious success at JMU in his 2 years there. And in comparison to maybe some other potential guys that Indiana could have hired, I think people expected him to turn it around, maybe to the tune of 6, 7, maybe 8 wins. But it felt like Indiana football was just so screwed for the rest of eternity, especially in this day and age of college football, where there is teams and programs buying players, essentially, that you thought, who on God's green earth is going to want to go to Bloomington, Indiana? Out of all the choices, who is going to want to go to Bloomington, Indiana? Now, one of the top transfer portal quarterbacks is going. There's a lot of quarterbacks that are sitting there going, hey, you know what? I kind of am intrigued by Bloomington. Why? Because they've done it 2 years in a row now. Fernando Mendoza is going to be the number 1 draft pick, more than likely. Now, first quarterback off the board, for sure. Just won a Heisman. I'm sure TCU transfer quarterback Josh Hoover is going, heck yeah, man, put me in that system. Let me just go ahead and follow and do the exact same thing Fernando Mendoza did. How about this for Fernando Mendoza? He was obviously at Cal for his first 2 years of college football in 2023 and 2024. In 2024, he didn't have a bad year by any means. He's completed 69% of his passes, had over 3,000 passing yards, 16 touchdown passes, 6 INTs. Buck, you want to know what he did this year?
Yeah, rattle off the final stats.
He completed this year at Indiana. Right, once again, those numbers at Cal aren't horrific, right? They're maybe not great. The touchdown 16-6 is not great, but you can live with it. This year at Indiana, he completed 72% of his passes for over 3,500 passing yards, 41 passing touchdowns, and 6 INTs. It was a jump of over 500 passing yards this year. He completed 3% higher of his on his pass completion percentage, and he had, let me do quick math, 25 more passing touchdowns this year at Indiana. This is the type of stuff, not to bring Nebraska into this conversation just yet. This is the type of stuff Nebraska needs, because we're getting a lot of text about effort and what they demand at Indiana versus what Nebraska demands, and why can't Nebraska figure this out? And we talked about it with a lot of the middle-of-the-road conference teams across the ACC, Big 10, Big 12. They're going to now maybe not expect this, but it becomes a little more stressful for some of those coaches. Nebraska's a school like that. This is what those schools need. They need a body of work, and they need proof that the coach is able to develop them and what? Get them to the next level. And right now, unfortunately, especially at the quarterback position, which is a topic of conversation this offseason for Nebraska, you haven't had that. You haven't been able to have that because Nebraska hasn't been able to put many guys in the league in a lot of position groups.
Yeah, unfortunately, this, it's always, you always want to localize and try to figure out how
Absolutely.
Nebraska can get there, right? But this, I think, gives a little more context to the beat down in Bloomington 2 years ago, right? And I know that's a memory that you would rather bury and not, never bring back up again. But that's the trajectory now we see, right? Where Indiana was on. And again, a different team kind of there. Curtis Rourke leading them out of the tunnel at quarterback. And so it's kind of interesting to see and identify, in going into the future, how good Josh Hoover is going to play next year, because now we're going to have to kind of dial in here. Obviously, Coach Cignetti is amazing, and who knows what the ceiling is moving forward. But it's going to take some time to kind of figure out how much of this is Fernando Mendoza and his special Heisman season bringing Indiana up, and how much of it is Cignetti. But the problem with just the Mendoza angle is there's All-Americans all over the field.
Yeah,
I mean, we saw the special teams maybe make the deciding play last night. The defense, the offense. I mean, it's everywhere, and it's from every place that he picked apart. Again, guys that were at Indiana that he inherited went on to become All-Americans this year. Guys that he picked out of the portal went on to become All-Americans this year. His James Madison guys went on to become All-Americans this year. So, when you look at, okay, well, what is it that he's doing there? It's development, it's coaching, it's finding guys in the right spot. It's the scouting department figuring out who's going to fit in perfectly here. It's culture. I mean, he's talked about that before. Doesn't just bring like all these different personalities in. Obviously, with that big of a roster, you're always going to have to. But he looks for football guys, football first guys that love this stuff and will go to battle. So it is amazing. And then again, that next step is, now they're 4 stars. Now they're 5 stars that are going to be interested in Bloomington. Can you kind of get the same thing out of those guys, or maybe can you do more going into the future? That's why I say, again, this could just be the beginning of a very long story of where right now it's fun to kind of cheer for Indiana and the Big Ten and celebrate today. But it's like anything. Alabama kind of got tired of watching them play for the title every year. We'll see. I'm not saying that's necessarily the case, especially with college football, the playoff. If they expand the playoff, it's going to be harder for teams to kind of repeatedly make that. But one thing or another, it just feels like Curt Cignetti in an era where it is tough to I don't want to say ask for development, but to see it as much, right? Like through the coaches just have such a short leash on them these days. And obviously all the transfer portal and all that stuff, this is kind of a throwback to what was expected out of coaches back in the day. And he's doing it better than anybody doing it right now.
So I went back just for grins and giggles. I looked back at the 2024 quarterback transfer portal class when they got Curtis Rourke, because that was a guy, he was the MAC Player of the Year from the University of Ohio. And he was, according to On3, according to them, the 35th best quarterback in that transfer portal class. Here's the names that they obviously have over him, and we won't go through all of them, but some of the ones that transferred that year: Cam Ward, Dante Moore went and backed up Dylan Gabriel at Oregon, Will Howard, Riley Leonard, Dylan Gabriel, Aiden Childs, Brock Vandergriff, Kyle McCord, Malachi Nelson, DJ Uiagalelei, Malik Murphy, Will Rogers, KJ Jefferson, Jaden Rashada, Grayson McCall, Max Brosmer. Those are a lot of them. Max Johnson, who was in the conversation at Nebraska for a while up until Nebraska got, Dylan Raiola, obviously. How about this? Brendan Sorsby transferred out of Indiana. And so there's that. I mean, there's that interesting little piece there. He transferred out of Indiana in 2024. They bring it. Sam Levitt, obviously transferred from Michigan State, and Curtis Rorick was down there in between on the rankings, in between Ja'Cory Brown, who went to UCF, don't know him, and Ken Seals, who went to TCU and backed up Josh Hoover. And so that is who they identified, the identification piece of it. They went farther down the list. They had figured out who they wanted to go get. And Curtis Rorick had himself a really nice year. Even then, when he got hurt, the backup stepped in and they still had success. And so ultimately, they just figured out what they wanted. Then in 2025, they were able to go a little higher. And Fernando Mendoza was the number 4 quarterback in the transfer portal last year. This year with Josh Hoover, he is the 6th transfer portal quarterback. But once again, there's proof in the pudding here. Curtis Rorick had a really nice season at Indiana. Now Fernando Mendoza makes a large jump and is on NFL draft boards. I'm sure it makes Curt Cignetti's job a heck of a lot easier, Bach, when he's able to go into living rooms and go, all right, in April, our quarterback's going to be number 1, the first name you hear off the board. I'm sure it just makes it, and at multiple positions, right? Yeah. Because he can look around. I'm sure when he was talking to Nick Marsh, the transfer wide receiver from Michigan State, he looked and said, hey, look what Elijah Surratt's doing right now. Look at what Becker's doing right now. They trust their guys on the perimeter as well as anybody in the country. And they throw, and we saw Curtis Rorick do it last year. We see Fernando Mendoza do it this year. They trust that back shoulder fade more than anybody in the country. Nebraska got burned on it time and time again when they played in Bloomington 2 years ago. And we saw Becker make an absolutely phenomenal catch on a play that could have been defensive pass interference, made a great catch to kind of seal it and get the first down last night. So they've just figured out what they wanted in the portal, and then they've supplemented their quarterbacks and their skill guys with some talent around them, and good things are happening. But once again, 45-6 in 4 years, 2 years at JMU, 2 years at Indiana. Curt Cignetti, 45-6 in those 4 years.
Well, it's interesting too. I mean, you mentioned Becker from the other night, and apparently he wasn't much of a story until Surratt went out, and then they started relying on him. Doesn't have a drop all year, he's got 600, and he finishes with 679 yards in 34 receptions, and obviously 2 of the biggest receptions in the season last night. It's just incredible to see. All these different stories pop up. And again, that's what it is. The guy that made the interception to seal the game was from Miami. Of course, Fernando Mendoza, a Miami fan and from Miami growing up. Seemed like he was from everywhere, though, because they had Tom Brady on the sideline. Like, he's from Boston as well. So he moved around a bit. But, it's just amazing to see these kind of stories pop up. And so maybe there is something there. I mean, when you look at that transfer portal class, not obviously Mendoza, but going back to Rorick, I always find it interesting because you mentioned he's like 35th ranked in the portal. You're kind of seeing something similar to Anthony Calandria, not getting a whole lot of respect, but like Rorick, he was the conference player of the year. And I always go back to that's earned, not given. That's earned, not assumed. There's a lot of guys that are ranked ahead of both those guys that would say, okay, well, I think they project better or this or that. Well, they didn't go out there and win a conference player of the year. That is tough. So, maybe that's a connection we can but obviously that's going back to last year. But if you're looking for something to connect to Nebraska, other than Brendan Frankie, Brendan Frankie out there winning a title with Indiana, which was surprising.
Yeah. So Brendan Frankie, the former Nebraska football kicker, obviously, but how about this? He went from Morningside to Nebraska to Georgia Southern to Texas State to Indiana. Brendan Frankie. How about that one?
And he doesn't have like a whole lot of stats throughout that. He's just kind of
there.
Out. Yeah.
There is a little bit of breaking news in the college football world in terms of coaches leaving. Now, if I said the name Brandon Owens, you probably wouldn't know who that is. However, it is Indiana related. Their director of athletic performance, who has been a key figure in establishing body types and things like that behind the scenes for Indiana, just about 30 seconds ago, accepted a job with the University of Tennessee to become their head strength and conditioning coach. And so Indiana wins a title and they lose a coach. Maybe it's a normal thing. No, I'm kidding. Indiana's schedule next year, as we wrap up this conversation, Indiana's schedule next year. The non-con, as we know, Curt Cignetti doesn't hide it. It's a cakewalk, right? North Texas, Howard, and Western Kentucky.
And I wonder if they'll change that going into the future, but yeah.
Potentially. It is going to be interesting to see just how teams handle the teams that are not in the SEC. Handle the SEC playing one marquee non-con game and 9 conference games going forward, where the Big Ten just requires 9 conference games, obviously. But the 3 for Indiana, North Texas, Howard, and Western Kentucky, their notable conference games are they host Ohio State, they host USC, they will travel to Michigan and Nebraska, obviously. Their other 2 road games, Rutgers and Washington. A relatively easier, I would say, you avoid Oregon this year, or next year, for Indiana. Your home games are Minnesota, Northwestern, Ohio State, Purdue, and USC. Your road games are Michigan, Nebraska, Rutgers, and Washington. And so that's the 2026 Indiana football schedule. Should be an interesting one next year here in Lincoln. Curt Cignetti.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, you look at all these way too early top 25s coming out too. There's about 5 or 6 of those teams on Nebraska's schedule in the top 25. We know Nebraska has done against the top 25 recently.
Thanks, Bach.
Well,
I appreciate that.
They've got to actually beat good to be good next year.
Yeah.
There's no fluke about it. There's no easy schedule lined up. Defending champs coming, among them.
Defending champs. At some point in the show also, I do want to get to the Big Ten winning 3 straight. I do think that's notable, especially as we go forward into college football playoff expansion conversations. You kind of mentioned the part about Indiana potentially changing their non-conference opponents. I do think that is interesting to think about and consider. Where does the Big Ten rank in those conversations? Simply because of recent results. They have won the last 3. Michigan, Ohio State, and obviously Indiana are your last 3 national champions. And for all the talking that the SEC does, it does matter who's on top when it's all said and done. So with that being said, let's take a break. Husker Hoops conversation, coming up next. Nick Sander, Jake Bachhoven, this is The Drive. Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and wow, what a year it was at Koppel. The Koppel family would like to say thank you for a record-setting sales year in 2025. Now let's start 2026 off with the bang. New GMC Sierra pickups starting at $12,500 off list or 0% APR. Also hot off the presses, new Terrain leases at $299 per month. That's right, $299 per month on new GMC Terrain leases. So please stop on in the store or online at koppelcars.com. Stock numbers G138852 and G165184. 2,500 down with proof credit.
Just got new tires put on my car today.
You did? I didn't see you leave the office.
I didn't need to. Graham Tire picked up my car this morning and dropped it back off and they were done.
You're kidding. How'd you get that kind of service?
That's just what they do at Graham Tire.
Schedule your service online on the Pickup and Delivery tab at GrahamTireLincoln.com. That's GrahamTireLincoln.com. Let us do the running. Some limitations apply. See store for details.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
Hi, I'm Scott Miller, Business Development Officer at Midwest Bank's Lincoln branches. As a lifelong Lincolnite with over 30 years of experience in financial management, I'm here to help your business grow and succeed. My focus is building strong relationships with businesses and clients across Lincoln. Because at Midwest Bank, we believe banking is about people, not just numbers. Visit us at midwest.bank or stop by one of our Lincoln locations. Your community, your bank. Midwest Bank. Member FDIC.
Bagels and Joe is the perfect place for breakfast or lunch in January. Try their hot chocolate latte, cookie croissants, and special winter flavor hot cocoa cream cheese on any bagel. 4 locations in Lincoln and 1 in Seward. Bagels and Joe.
Winter is just around the corner. Is your vehicle ready? Don't get left out in the cold. At A1 Automotive, we prep your car for whatever winter throws your way here in Nebraska. For battery checks, brake inspections, tires, heaters, whatever your car needs to keep you and your family safe on the road, we've got you covered. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Change begins with you. Join a weight loss medication study at Solarion and earn cash in the process. If you are 19 to 65 years old with excess weight to lose, you may qualify. Participants could earn up to $22,750 for their time. Study includes 1 2-night stay, 1 3-night stay, and 38 returns. Learn more at helpresearch.com/flamingo or call 866-213-2965. Weight loss not guaranteed.
For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O. All right, Lincoln, if you're a diesel technician who's ready to earn up to $40 an hour and you're tired of working nights and weekends, listen up. Inland Truck Parts and Service is hiring experienced diesel technicians right here in Lincoln, and they're offering what every hardworking tech wants. Monday through Friday hours, no nights, no weekends, and paid training on advanced diesel technology. With 37 locations across 12 states, career advancement opportunities are endless. Start building towards your future and apply today at inlandtruck.com. That's inlandtruck.com. Or text APPLY to 785-369-1320.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top-quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Hi, Charlie Stone here, and joining me is Andy Goodyear with Honda of Lincoln. Before I bring Andy on, we want to wish you joy, success, and good health in 2026. Andy, are you there?
Yes, I am, Charlie. And by the way, that was well said.
Andy, I know you want to kick off 2026 with a bang. What's going on at the dealership?
We got a lot going on here, Charlie. We have incredible savings on every new remaining 2025, New Year savings on every new 2026, special low long-term financing, and special lease rates. The biggest news is we have more than 400 new 2025 and 2026 Hondas to choose from.
How about pre-owned?
We have over 125 pre-owned and certified pre-owned Hondas right now with prices starting at under $10,000, and we have special low rates.
Well, maybe it's time you experience the best. The Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Now back to The Drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in. It is The Drive, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert, Jake Bachhoven with you. AD is back mañana, tomorrow, So make sure you stay tuned for that. Got done talking Indiana football. Let's get some thoughts from the text line, 402-464-5685. I apologize. Did not do a great job in that first segment of mentioning the text line. Had a good number of texts come in. IQ Crew sent this in right at the start of the show. He says, I wish the entire CFP was played on campuses with exception to the final game. Do you think Indiana cares that they're the Rose and Peach Bowl champions? Will Miami raise banners for their Fiesta and Cotton Bowl titles? I think IQ Crew, everything you just mentioned, shows where the priority and the focus is for college football right now, and it is commercial money. It is the big-time corporate money that is attached to Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl and the Rose Bowl and the whatever Fiesta Bowl is now. Because it's not Tostitos, it's not Sony,
it's not PlayStation. Yeah, I don't know
what it is. Something, and then the Cotton Bowl, like so.
Verbo,
the Verbo.
Yeah,
I never know if it's VRBO or Verbo.
I don't know either, but I've seen
one of the Airbnb sites. Anyway, so I think it just shows that it allows college football to get that corporate sponsorship money. Now, on top of that, there is no argument against, and for me, I think, to sit there and go, well, why can't you just play the Fiesta Bowl at Indiana? Right?
Well, but then like the Rose Bowl, you wouldn't do that, right?
Yeah, well, I guess they say that the Rose Bowl sucks.
Well,
UCLA's leaving the Rose Bowl.
Well, UCLA doesn't want to be there because it's miles and miles off campus.
So SoFi's closer?
Yeah, I mean,
have you looked at that? I don't know.
I don't know how much.
I don't know
what difference that would make. I guess you're probably right there. But the Rose Bowl doesn't suck. People want their. I mean,
okay.
It's one of the most historic venues in
college
football. It probably is the most historic.
Hold on. All right, we're gonna find. Okay, it is 8 minutes farther to the Rose Bowl from the campus.
8 minutes or 8 miles?
8 minutes. 32 minutes from the campus of UCLA to the Rose Bowl Stadium to SoFi Stadium. It is 24 minutes. Now, to be fair, it says 24 minutes, 12 miles. The Rose Bowl is 26 miles. So you're going 14 miles closer.
I think that's just
might be significant.
In LA traffic terms, that's pretty significant.
Okay, might be significant.
Yeah, I don't know about that going. What that say? 24 minutes for 12 miles. Good luck in LA.
24 minutes for 12 miles, or 32 minutes for. Well, it was 32 minutes, and then I just did it again, and it went up 34 minutes.
Yeah, so it depends on the traffic.
It depends on the day. But just right now, it got traffic is a little slower in LA.
But I think too, when I was reading, the whole discussion about going to 16 or 24 teams, that is also about money. It's
100%.
A lot less to do with what's best for college football than what makes the most money. Now, I do think it's weird because you do like these Fiesta Bowls and Sugar Bowls and, the Peach Bowl, all that sort of stuff. It is a bit odd to get to see them have to like celebrate that as if it's a championship. I think that's kind of what college football wants. Like each step feels big, all that sort of stuff.
Sure.
But it is a little bit weird. Like if you win the Sugar Bowl and then lose, and then end up losing the last game of your season. I don't know. I mean, they probably will hang banners. Not.
Oh, you think?
Well, look at like a place like Iowa hangs banners for the Outback Bowl. Like,
well, I would imagine that like Indiana, a cool way to do it is obviously national champion.
Yeah.
But then on the same banner, go and put like the logos of all the bowls you won on the way there.
Yeah, they might. But again, they don't have a whole lot of history. They need more banners.
You cannot hang one for each game though, Bob.
Well, how many? I don't even know which games they played because that's the problem. Is it doesn't matter which ones anymore. Yeah. But
I do miss conference affiliates,
right?
Like, and I miss knowing the conference affiliates.
Yeah,
there was a time where you could go down. I would say probably 75% of the bowl games for me, and I'd be able to tell you the conference tie-ins.
Nice, yeah.
That's not the case anymore.
No. And I don't, and obviously the other, like, how do you save the bowls? If you take them outside of the playoffs, Notre Dame still won't accept. You're not going to get the top ranked games. And if you expand the playoffs, especially to 24 and try to take them out, then you're getting teams that are outside the top 25. So I don't know if there's any other way necessarily to do it. I do like the on-campus idea.
I just don't know how you're going to do it.
Yeah. Without, and that's the idea too with the 2014 player. That's why all this is so confusing. If they go to 24, you almost have to cut out championship games, like conference championship games.
And do you think so?
That's kind of the path they're thinking right now.
Well, this is where I think partially the academic calendar comes into play.
Yeah.
Because we're seeing it right now with a lot of the transfers where they have to. Jordan Seaton's a great example right now of a transfer offensive lineman from Colorado who was visiting LSU. LSU starts classes up tomorrow. Today or tomorrow? I think it might have been today, actually. And he was on campus at LSU on Sunday. They were trying to get him to stay till Monday. And the reason why was because, hey, if you just don't leave, you have to stay. If you want to start somewhere, you have to stay here. And it's so interesting to think about that, because if you're not enrolled by the first day of classes, you're not eligible to participate in spring ball. So I just wonder, for guys like that, you can't necessarily make decisions that just whenever. So essentially when the portal closes, like if you don't have a decision at least imminent, then you are kind of just running and playing with fire in my mind.
Yeah. And obviously like for Seton, maybe you can get away with that. For most guys, that's going to be really tough.
Yeah.
If you miss spring ball to really get in and compete, like for starting spots and new spots. So that's fascinating. Obviously, the Indiana players, Alberto Mendoza, transferring out because Hoover coming in.
Yeah.
You get this 5-day window or whatever, and so you get adjust to that. But that there's just not a whole like we're saying with college football. There's not a whole lot that makes sense. It's all it is all for the almighty dollar, and we'll see where that takes us. That's kind of been steering the conversations.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm looking at the just list of transfer portal guys that are uncommitted still. I mean, there's still some notable names. Principal Uman Mielen, who's the number 3 transfer portal player in the country right now. He is obviously uncommitted, but we don't know what his status is either, because Ole Miss is trying to testify.
Well, he signed.
And he signed. Yes, that's
he's
right.
Like
he
DeMond
signed the
Williams.
deal.
Yeah. If he gets out of that. And it's funny because there's not a whole lot of attention to it. And I know he's not the quarterback or the name, but it's the same thing. If he can get through that and transfer somewhere else, it's going to open up quite a bit legally. So I think he's going to have to stay.
Yeah, that's what's interesting is if he is allowed out of it, what's DeMond Williams do?
Right. Well, and then anybody, right? Because if that's what's holding everybody down is that they're signing at least.
That is a crazy world we're in. That's crazy to think
Prince
about.
Will could change the college football world.
All right. Well,
I think he's staying.
I think he's going to have to stay. Yeah. Hizzlebear says, I miss actual conferences. Do you think we'll ever get to a point, Buck? And this kind of builds off of Hizzlebear's point, where we don't go, I miss what it used to be like?
I mean, obviously, I think when generationally, people will adjust and adapt. And I think it's funny because it's going to, you already see these cutoffs of okay, national champ, when you see the history of even football, they'll go back to 2014 or when they started the playoff, or maybe they'll go back to the BCS. But so I mean, over time, there going to be people that never knew how it was, or and just born into this or whatever. But for that, I was telling you, that's part of getting older. College football has always changed.
Yeah.
And the way that they've got the championships and teams moving from conference to conference, it's definitely been a lot more within the last decade. Don't get me wrong. But that is part of getting older. Is you look back and say, I like how it used to be.
Mm-hmm. Because I'm just thinking back to the tie-ins once again. I miss watching I miss the at-large bids. Now you still have that everywhere essentially, but where you'd have Blake Bortles and UCF in a Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah,
that's what I miss. Where you just have the most bizarre at-large guys, and then they'd go and they'd play well. I think that UCF team was number 5 in the country at the time.
Did they win that one? I was thinking, I can't remember.
I don't think they did, because they played Baylor.
I think so. That sounds right.
Blake Bortles, UCF.
The George O'Leary team.
Yeah, Fiesta. I have to search Fiesta Bowl.
Which again was 2 years before
They did win.
They did win. Okay.
52-42. Blake Bortles.
And was it the next year? It was pretty quickly, either the next year, then 2 years after that they did not win a game, and that's when Scott Frost took over and
that's right.
made the miraculous
Well,
turnaround.
so this one was this Fiesta Bowl with Blake Bortles. You ready for it to feel old?
Yeah.
13 years ago.
I haven't heard from Blake Bortles in a while.
I would have been 11.
Yeah.
I would have been 11.
Yeah.
I was 11 years old when this game was played.
All right, that makes me feel older.
I'm sorry, Buck. You were probably what? 21?
13 years ago? Yeah, I've been like 22.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're fine then.
Yeah.
Okay, but anyway, great Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. Number 15 UCF against number 6 Baylor. And Bortles threw for 301 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. How about this one? I will be shocked, and I will be so proud, Bach, if you can get this right. Who is the quarterback for Baylor?
13 years ago?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
You will recognize the name. It is notable enough.
It's like 2012 then.
It would have been. His he does not have good NFL stats, so I can't even read them off.
Post RG3 then.
Yep.
Gosh, who took
I want to
RG3?
say, yeah, he was a 3-year starter for Baylor.
And had some NFL stats?
Had some NFL stats. Yeah.
I
wouldn't say bad. Heck yeah. In 2013, he had 32 touchdowns and 3 picks with 4,200 passing yards. 2014, he had 3,300 yards, 26 touchdowns, 6 picks.
I can't think of the name.
Bryce Petty.
Bryce Petty. Okay.
Bryce Petty was the Baylor quarterback that year. But anyway, all right. I was not expecting to go down this route. Here we are talking Baylor football, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. But there you have it. When we come back, let's do history as we round out the 9 o'clock hour on The Drive.
All right, Lincoln, if you're a diesel technician who's ready to earn up to $40 an hour and you're tired of working nights and weekends, listen up. Inland Truck Parts and Service is hiring experienced diesel technicians right here in Lincoln, and they're offering what every hardworking tech wants. Monday through Friday hours, no nights, no weekends, and paid training on advanced diesel technology. With 37 locations across 12 states, career advancement opportunities are endless. Start building towards your future and apply today at inlandtruck.com. That's inlandtruck.com. Or text APPLY to 785-369-1320.
Change begins with you. Join a weight loss medication study at Solarion and earn cash in the process. If you are 19 to 65 years old with excess weight to lose, you may qualify. Participants could earn up to $22,750 for their time. Study includes 1 2-night stay, 1 3-night stay, and 38 returns. Learn more at helpresearch.com/flamingo or call 866-213-2965. Weight loss not guaranteed.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines, unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge, with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards, just south of 48th and Holdridge.
Hi, Charlie Stone here, and joining me is Andy Goodyear with Honda of Lincoln. Before I bring Andy on, we want to wish you joy, success, and good health in 2026. Andy, are you there?
Yes, I am, Charlie. And by the way, that was well said.
Andy, I know you want to kick off 2026 with a bang. What's going on at the dealership?
We got a lot going on here, Charlie. We have incredible savings on every new remaining 2025, New Year's savings on every new 2026, special low long-term financing, and special lease rates. The biggest news is we have more than 400 new 2025 and 2026 Hondas to choose from.
How about pre-owned?
We have over 125 pre-owned and certified pre-owned Hondas right now, with prices starting at under $10,000, and we have special low rates.
Well, maybe it's time you experience the best. The Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today. Tune in to Outside the Box from 4 to 5 p.m. for everything you need to know about the Lincoln Stars. Join head coach Rocky Russo and play-by-play voice Alex Byrne as they sit down with special player guests to tell the story of the Lincoln Stars and give you all the news and notes you need from around the USHL. That's Outside the Box with the Lincoln Stars on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket immediately after every Nebraska men's basketball game for 1 hour of post-game recap. The Nebraska Basketball Postgame Show is sponsored by Union Bank and Trust, John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical, and the Lincoln Airport on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealer, invites you to the Spring Equipment and Technology Clinic February 3rd through the 5th at the Buffalo County Fairgrounds in Kearney. New this year, the planter and sprayer clinics are combined into one streamlined, hands-on event built around growers' time and needs. Get expert training on John Deere planters and sprayers on topics including maintenance, technology, and autonomy. Don't miss it. February 3rd through the 5th in Kearney. Visit landmarkimp.com/events for details.
Now back to The Drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into The Drive, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert, Jake Bachhoven alongside. We will talk Nebraska basketball in the 10 o'clock hour as they get ready to host Washington and travel to Minnesota on Saturday. Just a couple minutes here left in the 9 o'clock hour. So instead of history, I do want to talk about this, Bach, something I brought up just in the commercial break there. That Nebraska football schedules their spring game for March 28th, which is earlier than it usually is, which is fine, right? I'm not worried about that. However, you have a top 7 team in the country that, hypothetically speaking, is in line to be a 1, 2, maybe 3 seed in the NCAA tournament. And if everything goes chalk, a 2-seeded team would be in the Elite 8, which is the exact same weekend as the spring game. Now, I say this, but the likelihood that Nebraska would play at the same exact time on the same exact day as the spring game versus Elite 8 is probably slim, because once they get to the Elite 8, then they start to spread out the games a little bit more. They schedule them at night. They're like 6:08 and 8:08 p.m., so they schedule them a little bit later. Nebraska's spring game would be at 11 a.m. Granted, right, you're probably not worried about Nebraska football and Nebraska basketball crossing over. However, we cannot sit here and be naive and act like a very large amount of Nebraska basketball fans, or just Nebraska fans in general, will not go to wherever Nebraska basketball is for the Elite 8. They will essentially be, and we've heard the comparisons a lot, Bach, obviously, regarding the Indiana football versus Nebraska basketball comparison. I've seen it all over Twitter this morning. hey, talk to, a lot of college basketball accounts that are just naturally popping up on my feed nowadays. Are tweeting out like, what's the college basketball equivalent? And everybody in the comment is like, if Nebraska wins the championship this year. But we have to realize that Nebraska fans who travel like none other, even when the team is not very good, still, when they are, if hypothetically they are in the Elite Eight, they will be dominating in terms of travel and fan support.
Yeah, I would.
It's not even close. It's not even a conversation.
Yeah. Well, and like you said, similar to what Indiana had last night. I mean, where they were affecting the game with how loud they were in Miami's home stadium.
Mm-hmm.
But those ticket prices, if you followed along, a combination of Miami, obviously being there at home and a championship on the line, and then Indiana fans waiting. I mean, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity they never thought they'd have. Those ticket prices were driven up. So yeah, I mean, Nebraska definitely would be traveling. That'd be a wild day. A spring game in an Elite Eight game for Nebraska.
Yeah,
you could get into, obviously you kind of get to the Thursday, Saturday compared to the Friday, Sunday crowd. So you might be on the Sunday loop of it, but yeah, it is a little bit strange to schedule that out at this point in my mind.
I gotta be honest, I don't know. This is not cheap. Yeah, you could. Okay, so geographically, the Midwest regional, which would be Nebraska's, because they do care about geography. You'd be in Chicago. Buck, the cheapest price right now. Let me just sort this. Sort
This
by
for an Elite Eight?
price for Sweet 16
Okay.
and Elite 8. $547 per ticket.
Oof. Yeah.
So it's already pretty steep.
Yeah.
It's already pretty steep. You can get in the lower bowl, cheapest, $1,086. $1,086 for 2 tickets. Yikes.
I might go. I'm not taking my family. No,
Yeah. No, I don't think there's maybe Nebraska fans will spend it. Fans will spend it, but you can get up in the section 327 at the United Center for $547.
That would I love tracking ticket prices. That'd be so interesting to track once
it would be great.
The specific teams get in and see what which fan bases
Ooh.
are driving up the price or
that would be
lowering the price.
That would be great because I don't know. It's probably not possible where I get in price for 2024 NCAA basketball championship.
Yeah,
because obviously the championship is the men's Final Four for the 2024 basketball championships. The get in price was $250 per ticket.
So that's cheaper than what it currently, what the current Sweet
now there's a
16
lot of
is.
excitement, obviously, because you have everybody's fan base is saying, oh my gosh, our team could make it. Right.
Yeah.
I do wonder. So no, Nebraska is going to make the tournament, and they are either most likely going to St. Louis or they're going to Oklahoma City.
Mm-hmm.
I do wonder how many people have just bought tickets already for both of those places and have the mindset of we'll just sell whichever location they don't go to.
Yeah.
I feel like that seems like a smart approach.
Again, that's the kind of the tracking of it. I don't know, and it's new to Nebraska fans. Might have to give a call to some fans that you go to the tournament a little bit more and see how they've done it.
Here you go. How about this? My dad and his friends. This is from 8998. My dad and his friends already have hotel rooms in St. Louis and OKC in case we play their opening weekend.
I'll say there they go.
Nice. There it is. I'm sure those will go quick. I also wonder if they're already jacked up on prices.
Yeah.
So anyway,
a little bit.
All right, let's go at 10 o'clock hour. Husker Hoops on the other side.
All right, Lincoln, if you're a diesel technician who's ready to earn up to $40 an hour and you're tired of working nights and weekends, listen up. Inland Truck Parts and Service is hiring experienced diesel technicians right here in Lincoln, and they're offering what every hardworking tech wants. Monday through Friday hours, no nights, no weekends, and paid training on advanced diesel technology. With 37 locations across 12 states, career advancement opportunities are endless. Start building towards your future and apply today at inlandtruck.com. That's inlandtruck.com. Or text APPLY to 785-369-1320.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Bagels and Joe is the perfect place for breakfast or lunch in January. Try their hot chocolate latte, cookie croissants, and special winter flavor hot cocoa cream cheese on any bagel. 4 locations in Lincoln and 1 in Seward, Bagels and Joe. Tune in to Outside the Box from 4 to 5 p.m. for everything you need to know about the Lincoln Stars. Join head coach Rocky Russo and play-by-play voice Alex Fern as they sit down with special player guests to tell the story of the Lincoln Stars and give you all the news and notes you need from around the USHL. That's Outside the Box with the Lincoln Stars on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Winter is just around the corner. Is your vehicle ready? Don't get left out in the cold. At A1 Automotive, we prep your car for whatever winter throws your way here in Nebraska. For battery checks, brake inspections, tires, heaters, whatever your car needs to keep you and your family safe on the road, we've got you covered. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
There are so many realtors in Lincoln and Omaha, but don't get overwhelmed by all the no-names, plus all the different companies. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Real Estate is your go-to option, whether buying or selling residential, luxury, leasing, investment properties, or commercial property, small or large. Ben's team offers decades of experience, unbeatable customer service, and promises to fully protect your interests throughout the entire transaction. Call 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador Real Estate.
Planet Fitness has everything you need to get stronger just around the corner, so you can give everything you've got. Whether you want to crush a few reps before class with our expanded strength equipment or sweat it out on your way home from work. With over 2,800 locations, there's a Planet Fitness close to you, and most are open 24 hours. Join the club today and save $28 or more when you join for $1 down, $15 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal ends January 30th. Are you coming? Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet. See club for details.
MHC isn't a new company, just a new name. Moe's Moving is now Moe's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered, specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can handle your commercial moves as well. MHC Moving has 0 hidden fees. You'll never pay for same-day booking or be charged for stairs, heavy items, or elevator fees. Rates are the same Monday through Saturday, and you will never pay a truck or fuel surcharge. And they offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Welcome to The Drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert. Former football national champion, speaker, and author Aaron Davis.
Pain is a teacher if you use it. And the lessons in the carnage of pain sometimes are elusive. They hide, they're stealth. The work is finding the lessons through the pain. There's always a message in the mess. Depends on if we want to get dirty and look for it.
Nick Sainert.
Driving left side is Boyer, picks up his dribble, looking for some help, decides to go up strong with it, and the layup will rattle home. Jack Riley picks the pocket of B.J. Bradford up the floor to Jack Ostrider. Watch out! Mafisi in the lane, kicks it out. 3-ball, Townsley, right wing, it's good.
It's on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in. It's hour number 2 of the show. Nick Sainert alongside Jake Bakoven. AD will be back tomorrow. As always, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line. Open for you guys the rest of the way as DP will take over at 11 a.m. for a one-on-one with DP. Adam Carricker at noon. And Bach in the black shirt with DP as well it's Kenny Wilhite today.
Yeah, Kenny's coming in.
K-Dub Tuesdays. Today on Bach in the black shirt. Terrell Farley out this week on vacation, a much-deserved vacation for the black shirt there. Bach, we've gone an hour and 7 minutes of the show. We talked a lot of Indiana here in the program, but we have yet to talk about Nebraska and their number 7 ranking in the AP poll. The Huskers, after knocking off Oregon and Northwestern last week, they move up 1 spot in the AP poll, and they are number 7 in this week's rankings. They will host Washington tomorrow night at 8 p.m., and then they travel to the Barn on Saturday and play the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Should they have been higher? We'll start there.
I could see an argument for maybe 1 spot higher. Iowa State, I think, fairly dropped after 2 losses. Again, you can sit back and say, I still think this team's better, this or that, but I think part of it, you just got to go with the resume. I mean, we can play it out again in college basketball. It's less of an argument, I think, at the top, just because every team is going to eventually be able to play it out. So you can do resume rather than eye test and who I think is better and all that sort of thing. But so Nebraska's resume, and that's what I always go with ranking is, I think puts them about where they need to be. I thought that they could jump. I could go back and look at somebody, who's 6. I think that's who I thought they could jump.
Hold on. I was looking up. Number 6 is Houston.
Yeah, I think they have an argument with Houston. But.
Houston just beat Arizona State 103-73.
Well, yeah.
I mean, but look at these names. Look at these names that they're up there with. I mean, on the AP website, apnews.com, top 25, obviously. Here you have. When we talk about Indiana football, here's the best part. Okay, so it's powerhouse Arizona, notable program UConn, notable basketball school Michigan, notable basketball school Purdue, a legendary basketball program in Duke, Kelvin Sampson, legendary coach, and the Houston Cougars, Nebraska. where then after Nebraska, well-known basketball school Gonzaga. Iowa State basketball success. Michigan State, one of the best coaches of all time. Nebraska wedged in the middle.
Nebraska's just in there.
They're there. It's incredible. It's incredible. And you just go down. It's great because you go down even farther. It's like Illinois, who's good at basketball. Texas Tech, who won the title a couple years ago. Kansas is 19th in the country, which, by the way, Kansas, who's 13-5 this year. You want to talk about That'd be a page to be interesting to look at here. Let me pull up, just for the sake of conversation. Let me see if I can find Kansas's Bart Torvik or net team sheet. That's what I want to look at, because we talk about brands in college basketball all the time. And okay, if Nebraska was, had Duke on the front of their jersey with their resume, where would they be ranked? And that's fine. But the Kansas Jayhawks right now, it's in a really interesting spot because they are 13th, or excuse me, they are 13-5. And Bach, I gotta just find the sheet here. But they're 13-5. They are not ranked very high in the net. But we just heard yesterday also they're ranked top 20 in the net, 13-5. let's see. Can I find their sheet? Live radio at its best right here. But anyway, they've lost games to West Virginia, UCF, Connecticut, UConn, Duke, and North Carolina. They have games coming up against 13th ranked BYU, 12th ranked Texas Tech, number 1 Arizona, number 9 Iowa State, number 6 Houston, number 1 Arizona, all in a row.
Yeah.
Bill Self was also hospitalized yesterday.
Yeah, I did see that. Which hopefully he's feeling better fairly soon. But I mean, they did beat. I mean, the reason why they're back up, they propelled up, I think, 7 spots in the rankings because they did beat Iowa State. So they at least did show the ability. I think that was their first kind of. I guess they beat Tennessee earlier on when Tennessee was ranked. They're just outside the top 25. But yeah, I mean, it's weird. Kansas, the North Carolinas, to see you ranked ahead of teams like that. Obviously, Kentucky's struggling a little bit this year, but all those teams kind of anywhere from 20th to 30th. In the nation, and Nebraska well above that. So it is crazy. And then the other thing is, are you seeing less, as the season goes on, you still have it like, okay, well, who's the fluke? These questions get thrown out among these national pundits. At some point, it's 18 games, guys. Like,
I think we're past that, Bob.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I hear it a little bit.
Really?
But it's
interesting.
It's dwindling. Or like, over the last couple of weeks, it was kind of more of a conversation. But once you get to 18 games, like at a certain point, just go, you know what? That's pretty darn impressive. I don't care who you played. Nebraska's played a pretty good schedule.
So today, the folks over at Bleacher Report just put out a new bracketology piece. And because Dan from Canopy just texted in, once again, 464-5685, says this is great, but one game at a time. Seeding in the tournament is the prize. He might be meaning Big Ten tournament, which Nebraska is, I would say, soaring to a top 4 seed in the Big Ten tournament, which is great because then they don't play till, I believe, Friday is the day. The tournament starts on Tuesday. Remember, on the men's side of things, all 18 teams make the tournament. That would also be a heck of a flip from last year. A team that doesn't make the tournament now is potentially a top 2 seed, top 3 seed in the tournament. Now, it's going to matter what they do against, in addition to Michigan, the Purdue, Illinois, and those games. But it's so on this Bleacher Report bracketology, Bach, Nebraska projected to play in the Oklahoma City Regional, number 1 seed.
There we go.
It's crazy. It's wild to see that. They'd be on the same side of the bracket as number 2 seeded Houston. But yeah. I mean,
do they happen to have Michigan and Purdue as 1 seed?
They have. So the other 1 seeds are Duke. They're playing in Greenville. They have number 2 seed Michigan.
Okay.
Number 2 seed Michigan. Number 1 Nebraska. Number 2 Houston. The same side. Number 1 UConn. Number 2 Purdue. Number 1 Arizona. Number 2 Gonzaga.
And it's interesting too because when you see those brackets, like, the bracketologists, are they projecting or is it what they're doing now, right? Because I think if you go for now, it's hard to argue against an undefeated team.
Yeah.
If you're projecting, again, Michigan and Purdue are both ranked ahead of Nebraska right now, and I think a little bit of that again has to do with resume. But so I mean, that's kind of where the conversation has turned from where is Nebraska going to fall off all this sort of stuff to do they deserve a number 1 ranking with the undefeated record?
Yeah, so here's
number 1 seed.
Just once again for context in the conversation. Nebraska now is 5-0 in quad 1 games, 5-0 in quad 2 games. So you're talking 10 of your 18 wins have been quad 1 and quad 2. Now you have a couple of great ones coming up, great opportunities coming up in Nebraska. They're predicted to finish 29-2 overall this season by multiple sites. That's what Bart Torvik has for Nebraska. That's also what Warren Nolan, who does the net team sheets, has and keeps track of the quad victories for Nebraska. How about these? These are the projections for Nebraska. Once again, to go 29-2 and 18-2 in the conference. 18-2 in the conference would have won the league last year, by the way. Michigan State won the league at 17-3 in 2025. So just something to keep in mind there. But they have the 2 losses for Nebraska being Michigan next Tuesday night and then Purdue on February 10th at home. But by the way, those are to the number 1 team in the RPI currently and the number 2 team in the RPI currently.
And it is interesting to track a little bit of Iowa,
it is,
because they are a team that has Nebraska. Nebraska has twice. So if you're looking at like top 25 games in the least, I think a week ago they were ranked, and so Nebraska had 5 ranked teams left to face. Now that Iowa has fallen from the unranked to the unranked, and they could get back in, but they've just got 3 ranked teams left with Michigan, Illinois, and Purdue, which is a 3 out of 4 game stretch that they will have starting off with Michigan. So, but it's interesting because you say that it's, I'm no longer at the point, and maybe you're used to it as a Nebraska fan, but it's not like I'm going in there thinking, well, yeah, so there's 2 or 3 losses, right? It's like, okay, I expect them to win, at least 1, maybe get 2 of those.
It's okay. So I'm trying to get back to the right thing here. It's interesting to have the conversation of, if I go to the right screen here, the Nets. Okay, perfect. So when you look at the upcoming games in terms of quad opportunities and what they would be for Nebraska basketball, it might surprise you. Minnesota on the road would not be a quad 1 or a quad 2 victory. It would actually it's going to be a quad 3 game. Minnesota currently 140th in the RPI there. So that kind of goes off interesting there with the Minnesota Golden Gophers and head coach Nico Medved. But once again, you look at Minnesota, Washington on the road, Washington at home. These are games that if Nebraska does have their eyes set on, and we say this every week, and so far they've passed the test every week, Bach, is that these are the games that if you are wanting to get to an Elite 8, we were joking about it last segment in the spring game and everything there. But if that is where you're aspiring to land, like, these are the ones you just continuously win. These are the ones you continuously win. But then, to your point that you mentioned a couple minutes ago, if they don't have success, like, it's not panic time. I don't think you have to worry about this team going on these massive ebbs and flows of a roller coaster to where, all right, they're on like an insane high right now for the first 18 games, but get ready, because once that first loss comes, here comes 5 in a row. Right. I just don't think you have that. And to be fair, I don't think the schedule sets up that way, right? Because you're going to be able to get back home you're going to be able to, obviously Washington, you feel good about. Minnesota, you're probably back and forth. It's a coin flip. Michigan, who knows? But then after those, it's like, okay, you get Illinois at home, so you get a home test, right? But then it's Rutgers on the road, which you feel pretty good about. Then it's Northwestern at home, Iowa on the road, but then it's home games against teams like Penn State and Maryland. You don't have to go into the gauntlet that we just read of Kansas, where you're facing Houston, Iowa State, Arizona, and then Arizona again. Yeah. And like, you don't have to, it's not as much of a gauntlet, I think.
Well, and you mentioned like games with Northwestern and Penn State and Maryland still. Those teams are 1-6, 0-7 in the league. So there are some that would be very surprising and would be obviously frustrating. Again, nothing's going to bring you down from where we are, obviously, other than a losing streak. But to your point, I just don't see that necessarily happening. Again, anything can happen. One game of basketball. Sure. So even if they did lose to, a Northwestern or something like that, it wouldn't be the end of the world. But I just wouldn't expect it to start something. Like, again, what you always worry about with anything that's riding high is an injury can throw you off, obviously. And so that would be the only thing that I could see kind of taking Nebraska away. And again, I think we're far enough in the season. They've been battle tested enough. But I do think the nation is definitely going to take note when you play 3 of the top 11 teams in the country. Again, if you go 2-1 in that stretch, that's going to solidify you as a top 5 team, basically. Yeah. Well, if you go 0-3 in that stretch, you might kind of fall back more into the top 15, top 20, but not necessarily where they are now.
Let's be real. You kind of have, you control, as cliche as it is, you control your destiny.
Yeah.
Right. If you're Nebraska, because you have opportunities. The 2 teams that are ranked ahead of you in the AP poll, you have on your schedule. Michigan next Tuesday, and then Purdue coming up in early February on the 10th. And so you talk about jumping those schools, and you look at opportunities. I think, if Nebraska, let's just play through the scenario of Nebraska falls on the road to a really good Michigan team next Tuesday, and that's your first loss. Like I'm not concerned about Nebraska jumping out of the top 10. Like I'm not worried about them. I don't think as much because of the resume they have of getting absolutely screwed by the voters. I'm not concerned about that. And then guess what? You take care of business after you lose a game and you're able to bounce back. Guess what? You're right in the thick of it all. And I think more so, I haven't looked at like Michigan's upcoming schedule, but this is a conversation to where you just go, okay, can we get one fewer loss than Michigan has in the conference? Because I think Purdue, obviously it's like a 3-team race right now with Purdue, Michigan, Nebraska for the Big Ten regular season title. Head-to-head is going to be important, obviously. But for Michigan, they play tonight. They host Indiana. Then they host Ohio State on Friday. Obviously host Nebraska. But then how about this for Michigan? They go, this is just some of their marquee games coming up the rest of the year. On the 30th of January, they travel to East Lansing. Michigan at Michigan State. They travel to 4th-ranked Purdue on February 17th. This is not a conference game, but they play 5th-ranked Duke on February 21st.
Okay.
Right? And then they will travel to 11th-ranked Illinois. They will travel to Iowa, and then they have to host Michigan State again on the last game of the year. So Michigan is either going to be playing exceptional basketball, and rightfully so, should be the number 1 team in the country, or they might lose a couple. So then can Nebraska? Wisconsin's not on there.
Not anymore. Okay.
Not anymore. What's Purdue? Let me look at Purdue here coming up. Obviously, a lot of this is out of Nebraska's hands, and that's okay. But Purdue obviously travels to Nebraska. Purdue travels to Iowa. Purdue travels to Ohio State. Purdue travels to Michigan State. Purdue has to host Illinois. They travel to UCLA today as well. So a couple games, if you want to watch the 2 teams Nebraska's in a race with. Michigan plays at 6 p.m. tonight, and Purdue plays at 9 p.m. tonight. So there you have it.
Well, and I'd look out for Michigan State and Illinois, too. They're definitely not out of it. They're
100%. No.
But Nebraska does have the head-to-head versus them at this point. Obviously, Illinois will have a chance.
That's why the Illinois game at home is like it's important for Nebraska fans not to overlook it. Because if you can sweep Illinois, and then in the one time this season you play Purdue, if you can win those 2 games, you can work around a loss at Michigan. And I'm not trying to say you want to lose the game against Michigan. Certainly not, right?
Yeah.
It'd be incredible. Like, I think this place takes a step up if Nebraska wins next Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we're at the peak of it all right now, Bach, because you're 18-0 and 7-0 in the conference and 7th in the AP poll. But this place goes a notch further if you can win on the road in Ann Arbor.
Well, I was just thinking, too, because I said earlier in the segment that if they lose those, go in 3 against the big competition, you'd fall to the top 15 or something like that. I'm now looking at Illinois, who's 15-3. They're number 11. Nebraska's number 7. So if they had a similar, and they have the head-to-head. So if they lost those 3 games, obviously, again, one of those would be Illinois, and then you'd split that. So Illinois might jump them, but I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't fall out of the top 12 because right now, with only 3 losses, Illinois is just 4 spots behind Nebraska, but there might be more of a gap between those 4 spots than I initially gave it credit for.
It's fun. It's a fun conversation. I enjoy having these. It's a lot of hypothetical, a lot of speculation, obviously. But as I will also say this, maybe this is, not very good of me to say. I think as Nebraska basketball has also had success, I hope for the sake of Husker fans, and talking to a few that I have, it feels like we're all on the same page. Like, I have more of a general interest in regular season college basketball now. Like, I'm much more. I'm always tapped in, and I'm always like, all right, I get home, 8 p.m. or whatever the case is. Let's just turn on a hoops game on ESPN, whichever one's on. But I've found myself start to go outside my way or out of my way to either watch on my phone if I'm not at home. Tonight, I'll be heavily glued into Michigan and Purdue tonight, right? Or like this Saturday when Illinois plays Purdue on the road. Heck yeah, I'm gonna be glued in big time.
Which is a beautiful thing too, because Nebraska fans, when they do kind of get into this when we have gotten into these scenarios, it's more, okay, we're watching other teams, watch other bubble teams.
Yes.
So we're watching, you're kind of watching in the middle there. Now you can watch the top of the nation and compare.
Like it was great. It was great on the Saturday. I was heavily tapped into Purdue at USC because USC had like a 14-point lead early in the game. Purdue ended up coming back and winning by 5, 69-64 on the road, which the whole Eric Musselman conversation is fascinating at USC. Somebody they stole away from Arkansas, and it's not great. But it's interesting. Purdue's obviously on the West Coast trip right now that Nebraska will take in late February, early March, but where they play USC, and then today they play UCLA. But yeah, Purdue's got an interesting stretch coming up. Illinois, obviously at UCLA tonight. Illinois at Purdue. Purdue then travels to Bloomington. That's always a good one. So that's next Tuesday. How about that? How about that night of basketball? Nebraska travels to Michigan. Could be a top 5 matchup if Nebraska wins the 2 games this week. Could be a top 5 matchup. Then you have number 4 Purdue playing Indiana after Nebraska plays Michigan. Nebraska, Michigan at 6 p.m. Central Time. Purdue, Indiana at 8 p.m.
And Indiana, I mean, they beat Kansas State early, obviously first year in their under Coach Darian DeVries, but they've got a 3-game losing streak.
It's also it's a rivalry. I mean, it's as deep of a rivalry in college hoops. Between Purdue and Indiana.
Absolutely, that would be great. Old Oak and Bucket, but on the basketball
floor. Yeah. They should create a trophy for basketball.
They should.
So there you have it. There's our hoops dream, if you will. Be tapped into college basketball. It's good for the soul. It's a lot of fun. Let us know 402-464-5685. How much will you actually watch of Purdue and Michigan in the next couple of days? They both play tonight, 6 and 8 p.m. or 6 and 9 p.m. I should say. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we talk Husker football. We also talk Big Ten football. Big Ten has hoisted the national championship trophy the last 3 years. What does it mean? We'll talk about it when we come back.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
There are so many realtors in Lincoln and Omaha, but don't get overwhelmed by all the no-names, plus all the different companies. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Real Estate is your go-to option, whether buying or selling residential, luxury, leasing, investment properties, or commercial property, small or large. Ben's team offers decades of experience, unbeatable customer service, and promises to fully protect your interests throughout the entire transaction. Call 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador Real Estate.
MHC isn't a new company, just a new name. Moe's Moving is now Moe's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered, specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can handle your commercial moves as well. MHC Moving has 0 hidden fees. You'll never pay for same-day booking or be charged for stairs, heavy items, or elevator fees. Rates are the same Monday through Saturday, and you will never pay a truck or fuel surcharge. And they offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com. Tired of asking what's for dinner? Nourished for Life has got you covered. At Nourished, they're a local meal prep company that delivers fresh, chef-crafted, healthy meals straight to your door. Made from wholesome ingredients and ready when you are. No shopping, no chopping. Just heat, eat, and enjoy every night of the week. Fuel your busy days with balanced meals that are designed to keep you satisfied and energized. Visit nourishedforlife.co to purchase meals and taste the convenience of home-cooked comfort without the hassle.
Sometimes good people make mistakes. When you find yourself in need of an attorney, call Liberty Law Group. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group will defend you in court and protect your freedom to get you the best possible outcome and the justice you deserve. Trust your freedom to Liberty Law Group, the best criminal attorneys in Nebraska and Iowa. Call them today at 877-404-5238. That's 877-404-5238. or check them out online at libertylawgroup.com.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Big value and big flavor meet at Wings and Rings, thanks to the all-new Delicious Duo Combo. This is the one you've been waiting for. Get one half-sized appetizer and 2 entrees with a side for only $19.99. Bring a friend for the best deal in town on any day of the week, during game time, or whenever the heck you want. Their made-to-order wings and chicken sandwiches are waiting for you at their 68th and O and 40th and Old Cheney locations. Stop by Wings and Rings and celebrate every day with the best meal deal in town.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
All right, Lincoln, if you're a diesel technician who's ready to earn up to $40 an hour and you're tired of working nights and weekends, listen up. Inland Truck Parts and Service is hiring experienced diesel technicians right here in Lincoln, and they're offering what every hardworking tech wants. Monday through Friday hours, no nights, no weekends, and paid training on advanced diesel technology. With 37 locations across 12 states, career advancement opportunities are endless. Start building towards your future and apply today at inlandtruck.com. That's inlandtruck.com. Or text APPLY to 785-369-1320.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket immediately after every Nebraska men's basketball game for 1 hour of post-game recap. The Nebraska Basketball Postgame Show is sponsored by Union Bank and Trust, John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical, and the Lincoln Airport on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Now back to The Drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Okay, so we were going to talk about how the Big Ten Conference has won the last 3 national championships. However, I saw this text during the break from T-Rob, and I want to mention it and get just overall thoughts on it, because I understand where T-Rob's coming from. He says, let's not talk about Elite Eight, just win a tournament game for the first time in team's history. And this is where I do want to get your guys' thoughts, 402-464-5685. Buck, I understand the sentiment of, hey, just win a tournament game for the first time in school history. And it's okay. I'm never going to tell people how to fan, because if that is good for you, like, I'm good with that. Like, I think everybody's going to be thrilled if they win a tournament game for the first time in team history or in school history. There's also a part of me that I look at this team, and it's okay to sit there and go, I think this team is capable of more than that. Now, history would say that they aren't able to, because you could say the team that was the 3 seed and lost in the first round should have been capable of more. Sure. and history might not be on Nebraska's side. But this is where we need to realize what they have. And they are, in my opinion, better than just a team that wins the first game. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think both things can be true. I think because this is kind of where I land. Yeah, just win a game. Just win a tournament game because this place will be unhinged if you do. But also it's okay to sit here and say, yeah, you know what? I expect them to make it to the round of to the Sweet 16. I expect them to win 2 games not because of who they've been, but because of who they are.
Yeah, and it's so interesting because, I mean, if you're just looking at the one game, it might be against, McNeese State or, so it's going to be interesting.
Okay, so it's hypothetical. In the bracketology right now, they're picked to play Long Island in the first round.
Right. So that's the one. We don't want to look past Long Island. I get it.
And we're gonna have to preface everything that week of like, all right, you don't want to look past Long Island,
right?
But no, this is a competent and a very good basketball team, and this is a team that Jay and I talked a lot yesterday, Buck, about how they're constructed very well for March and for meaningful basketball games.
Yeah,
because the things that you get beat or that beat you in those meaningful basketball games, lack of discipline, turnovers, the inability to play defense, the inability to have success on both ends of the floor. Like Nebraska does that. And they've done it consistently, which is the big word for a lot of Husker fans, right? And there's been, I don't want to sit here and say that this team is perfect and there's 0 holes and they can't play better and that they've already reached their ceiling, because I don't think that's true. But this is where I will say, I think it's okay to say that both things are true. Yeah, just win one, but also it's okay to have expectations now too.
Yeah, it is a fun conversation to have because, everybody's going to have a different feeling and where you quite land there. But it is, again, and it's kind of funny. One of my biggest goals in life has nothing to do with me. It's to watch Nebraska basketball win a tournament game. I just want to see it. And, not to get dark here or anything, my dad passed away a few years ago. The last game that we watched together was against Nebraska, Texas A&M. He was 60 years old. He had as well wanted to see Nebraska win a tournament game. And again, to your point, there were chances, there were opportunities, there were, times at least where Nebraska was favored. So, that big picture discussion of like, I've been a Husker fan for, I've been watching for, I'm 35, so about 30 years. Mm-hmm. And it just, so there's 30 years of just an exhale if you win that first game, right? But then it will quickly move on. And it's so interesting because like Creighton, there's programs that have these humps. Like Creighton could not get past the Sweet 16 or to the Sweet 16 until a few years ago. And that was a big deal for their program to get there. Nebraska fans, we haven't really thought much about the Sweet 16 or the Elite 8 or some sort of spot that we just can't quite get to past winning the first game. So if you do that, if you win that first game, it allows you to just kind of, a little bit play with house money, right? Mm-hmm. But the other thing is just kind of start to kind of think forward to what your next step can be. But when you've got a number 7 undefeated team in the nation, your thoughts should be, let's get to the Final Four. Let's, make a run for the national championship. All that sort of stuff is in play. But it doesn't, it still won't take away. I mean, I don't even know, like the first win in the NCAA tournament. And again, part of it's going to be the competition, how it looks,
very much
buzzer, all that sort of stuff. But that arguably would be more enjoyable for me than maybe punching a ticket to the Elite 8.
Sure. And I think, I don't know about that one. I mean, think about that.
I mean, I didn't say Final Four. Once you start to get into it,
I think that the other side of it all, and this is the unfortunate part, is like just March is March, man. And weird things happen, and you just hope. I think there will not be a more stressful game than even if Nebraska is a 1 seed. I mean, if things are going exceptionally well, Nebraska goes undefeated in the regular season, and they're a 1 seed. They're the number 1 overall seed, and they play the last team to get in. Nothing will be as stressful as that first game for Nebraska fans.
Yeah.
Because historically, and when you look at this season, statistically, analytically, that will be the best chance you have and have ever had to win a game. you're probably trending towards the highest seed in school history, potentially. If you are a 2 seed, it'll be the highest seed in school history. That's your best chance. And I don't even want to insert it into the microphone of the thought of Nebraska losing on a 15-2 game. But I mean, that will be the most stressful 40 minutes of basketball for, I think, every Husker fan.
It certainly can be. Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait for it, right? Because one way or the other, it's coming. And it's just so cool. I mean, growing up, it was so weird to watch the selection show and have Nebraska included these last couple of years, or when it is. I mean, so Nebraska being a participant, being through this, it's still, even just in the tournament, is a new feeling for me.
That's what's weird for us, Bach. Like, they're a lock.
Yeah.
They're in.
Yeah.
And it's January 20th. It's there's no conversation of, hey, they got to win a game in the Big Ten tournament. They got to do this. They got to at least make the Big Ten tournament. That's not the case this year. That's just not the conversation. And I think Nebraska fans, there's a lot of whiplash, I would call it. Because you go from Nebraska football, who was 5-1, and it looked like they had everything that they could want in front of them, laid a little bit of an egg, a big egg, and then ultimately got beat bad in the bowl game. So you go on this low of that. But then as soon as you kind of fall off the cliff with Husker football, hey, guess what? We're taking you right back to the mountaintop with Husker basketball. And so it's like, okay, hold on now. Like, don't hurt me for the second time in 3 months, please. But here you are. I just think it's a fun conversation to have. I just wanted to bring up the idea, and it's okay whichever side of the coin you land on. On one side, you might just win us a damn tournament game. And I'm perfectly fine with that. On the side that I'm landing on, and it includes winning a tournament game, this team can be destined for more. Like the team that played Texas A&M, they felt like, round of 32, win round of 64. You were a higher seed than Texas A&M that year. Like, okay, go ahead, just win it for us, right? Win us one tournament game, and we'll be thrilled. This team is even better than that team, obviously. And they've even been tested more, I think, than that team did. And so naturally, I think it's okay for us to sit here and say, this team could be destined for more.
Well, it's interesting too, because the other thing is, college basketball is such a postseason driven sport.
Yeah.
Especially for the top teams. I mean, Michigan State, Dukes. Yeah, you want to win the conference tournament. Yeah, you want to, do well in the regular season and win these early games. But your seasons is going to be viewed through the point of how you did in the postseason. Mm-hmm. Nebraska basketball, obviously a little bit different, is that this is one of the greatest seasons of all time. We're all enjoying the entire ride and not taking it for granted. And so I don't want to put it out there, but if they did come up short in the postseason to what your expectations are, there is still there's no coming down from like you're saying, there's no big drop off. Like, even if they do lose in the postseason earlier than we want them to, we're still going to sit back and go, that was magic.
Yeah.
Just because where they are today.
Yeah. And I think it's good for Nebraska fans to be able to enjoy every ride.
Yeah.
Every moment of the ride, because you don't get this every year. And Nebraska could have an exceptional season again next season, but not be 18-0. It's just things fall the way they do with basketball. I think maybe the more interesting conversation is, imagine doing this year after year. Imagine being one of the Dukes or the Purdues, and this is it. And I wonder if, obviously, we're not tapped into those programs. I wonder if the excitement level is the same when you do it so often, like for the Purdues. And for Michigan's maybe gone a little bit back and forth after the Juwan Howard years, but I don't see this place ever coming down from the high.
Well, it's interesting because we treat it's hard because we already treat it, even when they're going 500 or barely getting by. You're already one of top attended arenas in college basketball. Yeah. So it's not, again, it won't come crashing down at any point. But I think like Michigan State, the Tom Izzo quote always kind of stands out to me, is he doesn't count or think about winning the first NCAA tournament game. doesn't even like register in his mind because that's the expectation at Michigan State. Of course, you win the round of 64 and move on. And how good he does in March and all the time. The complete contrast of that to where Nebraska is just like, I don't care what seed we get or whatever, just win one, win one, So it is amazing. And I hope that one day we can kind of, we can be a top 10 program, not a top 10 team, but first things first here.
The cheapest ticket you can get in tomorrow night from tickets on StubHub for Nebraska and Washington for as low as $42 for a ticket. Section 301, row 8, one ticket, $42
plus fees. Don't forget.
Nope,
fees.
that's including fees.
Oh, that's including fees. Okay.
Yep.
Good.
StubHub. I have the slider on that includes fees.
Nice.
So you can. I say only. You can even sit in the lower bowl for a little over $100, including fees
for an 8 p.m. tip. That's pretty
for an
good
8 p.m.
for
tip.
Yeah.
And according to StubHub, that is an amazing deal.
I agree.
For $123, an amazing deal. So
I like how they will put bad deal on their own site.
I know, right?
Don't do that.
I know. Tickets. So actually, it's funny. You go to the top events in your area, and it basically is regional. So Midwest region. Washington at Nebraska tomorrow night, the hottest event on StubHub. So Illinois and Nebraska, February 1st, selling fast, it says. Those are a little bit more expensive.
I would assume so, yeah.
The same seats that you could get for $123 for Illinois, the same exact seats. Somebody's just selling tickets. Same exact seats. $604 a piece.
Oof.
Yeah. We're a little steep there.
I also wonder about ticket prices next year. I'm interested
in
how things change because there are some folks probably making some good money off those this year.
Well, ticket prices, season tickets, what happens there. So there you have it. All right, let's take a break, close out the show when we come back.
Planet Fitness has everything you need to get stronger just around the corner, so you can give everything you've got. Whether you want to crush a few reps before class with our expanded strength equipment or sweat it out on your way home from work. With over 2,800 locations, there's a Planet Fitness close to you, and most are open 24 hours. Join the club today and save $28 or more when you join for $1 down, $15 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal ends January 30th. Are you coming? Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet. See club for details.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
Hog Wild has a delicious way for you to enjoy beef brisket. It's our open-faced hot beef sandwich. We start with our grilled Texas toast. Add a scoop of creamy mashed potatoes. Load them up with some tender Hog Wild beef brisket. And top it off with our tasty brown gravy. It's absolutely delicious. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Winter is just around the corner. Is your vehicle ready? Don't get left out in the cold. At A1 Automotive, we prep your car for whatever winter throws your way here in Nebraska. For battery checks, brake inspections, tires, heaters, whatever your car needs to keep you and your family safe on the road, we've got you covered. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Sometimes good people make mistakes. When you find yourself in need of an attorney, call Liberty Law Group. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group will defend you in court and protect your freedom to get you the best possible outcome and the justice you deserve. Trust your freedom to Liberty Law Group, the best criminal attorneys in Nebraska and Iowa. Call them today at 877-404-5238. That's 877-404-5238. Or check them out online at libertylawgroup.com.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
Tune in to Outside the Box from 4 to 5 p.m. for everything you need to know about the Lincoln Stars. Join head coach Rocky Russo and play-by-play voice Alex Fern as they sit down with special player guests to tell the story of the Lincoln Stars and give you all the news and notes you need from around the USHL. That's Outside the Box with the Lincoln Stars on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
Now back to the drive with Aaron Davis and Nick Sainert on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, so one last time here before we hand things off to DP for one-on-one with DP. Thanks again to Bach for joining me here today. AD will be back tomorrow. I wanted to mention this because I saw this on Twitter yesterday. Colin Rice, who is a 6'8" guard for Nebraska, is going to be on campus next year for the Huskers. He, last night against Millard North High School, he played and dropped 33 points on 11 of 19 from the field, added 6 rebounds as well. He plays for Waukee Northwest. Earlier this week, he went off for 34 points. So he's put up 34 and 33 in back-to-back games. Same high school as Price Sanford was at Waukee Northwest in Iowa. Fun little fact, Colin Rice also dating Price Sanford's sister. So
there you go.
Connection
as
there.
the world turns.
Hey, we know that girlfriend connections are big when you talk about recruiting.
Yeah. I have trouble keeping up with who's dating who, and I don't care. But
I don't care either.
I appreciate that. Now I'm smarter today.
Well, I don't necessarily care a ton either. But I mean that's part of the connection. Is Price Sanford will be here for we're expecting Price Sanford to be here another year. I haven't seen him on draft boards yet, but we're expecting Price to be here another year. Colin Rice, potentially a freshman. Is a true freshman next year. I am interested to see, Bach, you brought up the philosophy going forward for Nebraska basketball, and we can talk about this later too. But the philosophy for Nebraska basketball, will it change going forward after the success? I don't know if it will. I don't think it will. I think Fred Hoiberg and his staff have kind of found something that works really well for them, and I think they're going to continue that. I would also add, though, that they love to find a freshman and redshirt him, and I am more intrigued by, after the success now of Braden Frager, are they able to keep guys for that? Because we knew they tried to do that with Nick Janowski last year, and Nick just decided that it was time for him to move on. Nebraska might have told him, hey, maybe the Jamarcus Lawrence route is good for Nick Janowski. He's done really well at St. Thomas this year. Janowski has. Maybe that's a guy that pops back into the portal and Nebraska looks at, right? But ultimately, I mean, Braden Frager's had success after he redshirted last year, and Nebraska's going to bring in 2 guys next season in Jacob Lanier and Colin Rice, and more than likely one or both potentially could redshirt, but we'll see what the thought process is there for those guys.
Yeah, we'll see. It's just, it's kind of similar to Indiana football and the different eyes that will be upon them and maybe want to make their way to Bloomington. I would assume there's a little bit going to be more interest. And as Nebraska continues to be the story of college basketball, of teams thinking, well, they must got something going on there in Nebraska. And you watch the team and think, maybe you're a top recruit. Hey, I could kind of slide in this role or that role. And so, yeah, I'm interested to see if the recruiting profile that Nebraska basketball is able to dip from pick from is expanding.
Really good stuff today, Bach. Thank you for hanging out.
Yeah,
as always, you and I will get to do another 2 hours on Thursday afternoon. I'll be joining you for the afternoon program from 1 to 3 p.m. But nonetheless, that is it for us today. Make sure you stay tuned. One-on-one with DP is coming up next. AD is back tomorrow. So once again, thanks to Jay Foreman yesterday and to Bach today for filling in and hanging out with me on the morning show. But once again, one-on-one with DP coming up next. Make sure you stay tuned. And we will talk to you 9 a.m. tomorrow. AD is back. It's The Drive, 93.7 The Ticket.